Hey guys, how you all doing today? Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. Today, I'm currently working on the Star Wars Squadron gameplay. I can't decide whether or not I want to separate the breakdown and the reaction to the gameplay trailer. I'll decide. I'll probably separate them. But we have a couple things to talk about today. So yesterday we talked about the lore of the Realm Lords, Forge World reopening. Wait, no, that was a while ago. Sorry. The Indominus design interview? I don't think we did that one. But we did talk about the alternate color schemes. So we have Flash Fried Pigeon, Necromunda, Beyond the Box, Models of Indominus. Yeah, we didn't do that one, which maybe we'll do that one. And then Faction Focus Orcs today. Good drink. I always have my drink on these, and I never regret it whatsoever. So, okay, Flash Fried Pigeon. First, it's just a comic. You guys can look at this on your own. I'm not really for the comics so much. So, we're actually going to ignore that. Let's go take a look at Necromunda, a new roadmap. Earlier in the year, we showed off the plan for the future of Necromunda. Unfortunately, the global lockdown took us on a little diversion, but we're back on track now. So we're pleased to show you the updated version of our Necromunda roadmap and give you a sneak peek at some of the rules for the new Esker Wild Runners, which I'm assuming she's one of. Probably one of the heads. This year, we released House of Chains and witnessed Goliath gangs unleash their might on the Underhive. It featured never before seen lore of the House Goliath, expanding them in a way that their workout routine couldn't manage. It also included new ways to play and even a new gang, the Slave Ogrins. So, alongside this epic tome, models of the elite stimmers and those up in the corners, the Forgeborn, were let loose in the Underhive. These brought even greater tactical options to the Goliath gangs, the Forgeborn adding in some speed, and the Stimmers generating extra shooting, and even more brute force than the Goliath already had access to. Over the course of 2020, we will be seeing 2 further books released, and more new models are coming with them. So here's the 2020 roadmap updated. So first is the House of Chains. I don't know who they are, but yeah. This is released, it says. I did not know that. Then is the House of Blades. Bow Lady. Okay. Then House of Iron and House of Artifice. So he has a fancy looking las gun. That looks like a grenade launcher on House of Iron. Interesting. House of Blades will explore the next one. House of Chains is released. It says Q3. We'll explore the background of the Eschers, while House of Iron will shed light on the new light on the Orlocks, going deeper than ever before. Fans of these houses will find themselves a comprehensive reference guide filled with lore, expanded gang rosters, and new tactics with which to rule the Underhive. Followers of other houses will want to pick them up too, as they are incredible resources for Necromunda. House of Blades book. Alongside House of Blades comes awesome Wild Runners model. Within Escher Society, the Wild are those who have to yet settle in a permanent place in the Habs. Cults or gangs, but they are some who never do. They prefer to strike out on their own into the Hive wilderness, exploring the bad zones and wastes. These are the Wild Runners. They are a completely new take on the young prospects of the house. Jeez. Never have soda when you're trying to record. You can even take a house selection of deadly weapons. So she has a bow, she has a whip, scary whip, and a bow that looks like toxic waste. They're going to talk about it. With these new weapons, you'll get access to a host of interesting tactical options for the matriarchs of the House Escher. The Wild Bow is an incredibly flexible weapon, especially as it's paired with a variety of different arrows. Use the standard one to quietly take down an opposing fighter without alerting anyone, or shoot the explosive arrow to disrupt a group of enemy gangers. Wild Runners can provide some crucial fire support in the early stages of a campaign, and they quickly become incredible fighters in their own right thanks to the fast learner rule, which means they'll soon be ranking up advancements. Eventually, they can be promoted to a gang matriarch, allowing them to take advantage of the special rules of Escher Champions 2. House of Blades will be released in Q3 this year along with the Wild Runner models. Join us over at Necromunda Facebook page. I like the look of the bow. I think that's cool. I like the look of these models though. I really gotta say, maybe I need to get into Necromunda. Yeah, so that's up for the Necromunda. I wonder when the video game's coming out. I think it's this month. I'm very interested in that. We'll take a quick look at this one because we've been talking about it so much. Tomorrow is when it goes on pre-order, by the way. This brand new faction of the Lumineth Realm Lords. Every model for every fan. No model in the set is exclusive, but this box is. So if you guys didn't see my other videos, this box is an exclusive thing. And in the fact of like special battle tome, just collector's items basically. Collector's editions that you want to buy with it. And obviously you save money by bundling. A massive wave of new releases. So here are their archers. I've been wondering about that. I like that 3-string. That's really cool actually. There's their archers. These are the... Wait, just want to make sure. So those are sentinels. Vanilla Allura sentinels. These are Stone Guard and Stone Mage. Oh, that must be the Stone Mage. And that's not to mention the Alara Spirit of the Mountain and the Colossal and customizable kit. Oh my gosh. No soda. Go away. I have a Diet Coke and I'm regretting it. And that's not to mention the Alara Spirit of the Mountain, a colossal customizable kit that also lets you build Alvanor the Stoneheart King. So, basically, these are the Sentinels, the Bowmen. These are the Stone Guard, and that's a Stone Mage. Then this is, what was it? Spirit of the Mountain and Alvanor, the Stoneheart King. I'm gonna guess the one on the right is Stoneheart King because look how much more ornate he is. And then there's another wizard. Take this same model. I'm not a big fan of AOS. I'm definitely breezing through this more. I do like the griffin. I don't like the helmet. It kind of creeps me out, but it's very neat. Not gonna lie. And I like the wizard there. I do like this though. The Stoneheart King. I think he looks sick. I think that is so cool. And I really like their base infantry. It's like looking at Gondor with Warhammers. Gondor from Lord of the Rings, it is. So let's take a look at the models of Indominus. Oh, there's a video. Let's talk about it real quick. Last Saturday, we revealed the glorious Warhammer 40k Indominus box set. The models in this box are beyond doubt some of the finest miniatures we've ever made. Today, miniature designed legend Jess Goodwin and heavy metal guru Max Falegi give you a closer look at some of the models. Then we talk about the process of designing and painting them. Let's give this a watch. Okay.
One thing that I really like about the new Space Marines in this set is that we get to see what it's like to be a Primarch Space Marine. The culture and the kind of atmosphere of these different Space Marine chapters are making their way into this, and it really comes out in this box, I think.
We wanted them to have the broadest appeal to as many people as possible, so that people could basically put their mark on them. I always think of the basic Marine as a bit of a canvas.
We really wanted it to follow up on the design of the miniatures with the painting, and really make sure that they really embellish the Crusade feel to the heraldry and the negotiation between individual Marines and their honors throughout this crusade.
Obviously they're painted as Ultramarines in this box. You can paint them any way you want. There's no chapter symbols on these things. We went through a lot of different designs for the bikes, but for these, it's a motorbike and like a huge armored tire. I think there's probably an increased level of sort of brutality that you get when it's got two huge wheels on the ground. The characters really split into two things that we wanted to do with it. One of those was really going over the top on the relics. This was an opportunity to do some characters that really sort of showed that off. In this box, you effectively have this Primaris Chaplain, and then you have Judicia, and you've also got the Relic Bearer. Well, while he's part of the Blade Guard, he has that whole relic type feel to the whole thing. That against the rather broken down horror of the Necrons, they're a little bit shabbier than they were before.
With the Necrons, it felt like a really good opportunity to do something a little bit different and new. You revisit a faction or a range, you really need to make sure that anything that you're doing, any changes or anything that you keep in the same, you're doing for the right reasons, or you're doing it for the really to bring out like the core of what that faction is about. The black skeleton gave us like a perfect canvas to just do different stuff on top of, weather it in different ways. And I think our favorite, obviously, that came out of this was the black skeleton with the copper panels on top. The Warhammer studio as a whole has a lot of different sub departments, and everyone's working on their own specific angle of this. Like the writers are doing all the writing, the artists are doing all the artwork, we're doing the miniature painting, and some of my favorite parts are when you get people together from all these different aspects and really discuss the universe as a whole. And there's some really cool stuff that comes out of that. Having a meeting about what happens to a planet when a Necron tomb awakens on that planet and has actually been a tomb world all along for this Necron dynasty, and how that's like extinction level event almost on that planet. That sort of stuff affects the smallest things, like the color of the basing on the models in this set. And I think every time we have discussions like that together, everyone comes out with some new ideas and something that like helps tie it all together and make it really solid as a whole.
In the end, as much as it shouldn't drive, the bikes fit the Primaris for sure. I like the relic look they were talking about, and I really do like the new look of the Necrons. I mean, the old one I still liked a lot, but I do like the look of these new ones for sure. Here, I'll actually go to the photo. I guess there's no photo right there. Is there a photo here? Oh no, that's literally the same thing. Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, I like this photo right here. Dom's design interview, that photo. So I do like the more ornate and we awoken, we're coming back, updated design, I guess you could say, of the Necrons. I really like it a lot, actually. At first, when I first saw it, I was kind of like, but then now it's starting to really grow on me. And I do like the Primaris as if they're getting more seasoned veterans over time with their collecting relics and so forth, and I like that. Now to the highlight of this video, the orcs. They're mean, they're green, and in the new 40k edition, they'll be making a scene. I like that. Longtime Grand Tournament players and orc expert Matt Root is here with his advice on how to get your WOG on. Work or not? Yeah. With Primaris, is that those are Hellblaster, Intercessor, and okay. Who are they? The orcs are the most savage, warlike, and numerous species in the galaxy, and can be found infesting its every corner. Far removed from the enigmatic and scheming nature of other races, Greenstones are simple beings who live only for battle. They thrive on violence and rarely think beyond their next punch-up, breakneck race, or deafening gunfight, which is very true. One of my favorite lines still from Dawn of War, Dark Crusade, or Winter Assault was just when you click on one of the orcs and it's just orc, orc, orc. They do this weird chant thing. I don't know why, but I found that so enjoyable. I thought it was so funny. So it's won so many that even Gazcool is jealous of his achievements. Matt Root is going to talk about them now. Matt, the nature of orcs has always been aiming to overwhelm your opponent with bodies or bullets or both. In this regard, the Green Tide has not changed, but the options that have opened up to the army are numerous. One of the most striking changes is to vehicles. Orcs units like the Megatrak Scrapjet are deadly both in shooting and in combat, but previously you had to choose one or the other because being stuck in combat stopped you from shooting. In the new edition, this is no longer the case. You can unload rockets with malicious glee as you charge toward your opponent's lines. And if you get stuck in combat, you can still keep shooting with your other weapons. Because blast, which I'm assuming that's what it's talking about, is that thing right there. I like this outfit too. One thing they're really driving home in all these faction focus is tanks can shoot in combat and monsters. That's like their key point through this whole thing. This is a massive benefit to orcs, as they have some of the most melee-oriented vehicles in the game. Killikons, Death Dreads are just some of the big winners in this regard, and other great options to lead your charge. Stompa, Gorkanaut, the usuals. That is a lot of weapons. That's a lot of Daka. Oh my gosh, this is super short. It's already to the king units. The new terrain rules will also be appreciated by all orc players, with terrain having some clear and defined features. You don't have to worry about your opponent seeing through a crack in the wall to shoot your entire boy squad. You can't even give your squad a -1 modifier to be shot. This is a big advantage to orcs and any army that likes to get stuck in, as it means you can seriously limit your opponent's ability to stop your advance with their shooting. Key units, but what is going to be the best orc units to take advantage of the changes in the new edition? Let's go back to Matt. So the Burnabama. I don't know the weapons on these guys. I don't know stats, but I know it's a plane. Burnabombas were already good, but the changes to flyers in the new edition makes them even better. Take two. While they're great flying around immolating targets, they're even better if someone is foolish enough to shoot it down. Unlike most other exploding vehicles, Burnabombers explode on a 4-up instead of a 6-up, and do 3 mortal wounds instead of D3 with the flying Edbutt stratagem from the Psycho Awakening Saga of the Beast. You can guarantee that it will crash and burn, so rush them in the middle of your opponent's gun line and do an incredible amount of damage. So, excuse that burp. Jeez. I need to get water after this. Because I'll be working on the Star Wars Squadron video. What was I saying? Oh, so basically he's trying to get as much damage out of it and then use it as a bomber in the end for when it dies. Speaking of it, for 1 CP, Flying Edbutt. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select 1 orc unit from your army that has the flyer battlefield roll. That model is reduced to 0 wounds and automatically crashes and burns. Do not roll. So this is just using, for 1 command point, you can just make that a suicide bomber basically, and Flying Edbutt, the enemies. And with the Burnabama, it explodes with the bigger explosion, I guess? Yeah. Alright, because it's a Burna. Oh, also, Scorching Missiles are also blast weapons in the new edition, giving you more hits against hordes. Plus, you can fly your Burnabama off the table without any regret now, and your opponent can't shoot what isn't on the board. While your first plane is blown up, the second one can hide off the table and return safely in to drop off a whole new load of bombs on your enemies. Now we have some Mega Knobs. I like the little helmet in his eyes. I like the helmet on the one on the right, too. Orcs are a very command point hungry army, which meant that you often had to take 2 or 3 battalion detachments to get your points you needed. That made it tricky to fit in some of the more elite and expensive units, Mega Knobs being a prime example. In the new edition, thanks to the way detachments works, all armies start with the same command points. That means that if you don't want to take loads of Gretchen troops, you don't have to, which I guess that's a thing for orcs. You want an army filled with nothing but Mega Knobs and war bosses, you can have it, and still have all the command points you'll need, which you can spend back on the Mega Knobs to make them hit even harder in combat. Speaking of which, 1 CP, hit them harder. When faced with a tougher enemy, the first and best orc strategy is always hit them harder. I like that. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. When a Mega Knobs unit from your army is chosen to fight with, until the end of that phase, add 1 to the damage characteristic of melee weapons in a model that are equipped with. So plus 1 damage on all melee. The change in Overwatch rules will also help out the Mega Knobs if you charge your opponent's entire army. If you charge your opponent's entire army currently, they essentially get a free shooting phase. In the new edition, you have to choose a unit to shoot with and pay the necessary cost of command points. Thanks, Matt. A lot excited about cracking getting your boys. So, orcs, especially with the new Overwatch, just like the Adeptus Sororitas, are going to love the melee thing and the close-up of heavy weapons. I guess Chaos is actually a better example. Sorry, not Adeptus Sororita. So, Necron is liking this because they can shoot more. some of that, like the Gauss Reaper and stuff like that, if I remember correct. Orcs are liking this because now they can use this guy to fight in melee, and some of these guys, and use their guns. Bama with a command point system, and the new detachment allows you to bring people like Meganobs, and not just Gretchen and Gretchen and Gretchen. Well, that is everything on the Warhammer community that I need to talk about. So I hope you enjoyed. Bit of a discussion there. Leave any thoughts and comments down below and so forth. And anyone play orcs here? If so, what is your current list? And do you have any list ideas planned for 9th edition? Like anything big you're going to change? You can start bringing more expensive units since command points are now more flat and even and so forth. You guys going to try out the Burnabama thing they mentioned? Or are you guys going to try bringing some Meganobs and use Hit 'em Harder? Well, let me know in the comments below. And I really hope you enjoyed and have a good rest of your day. And see you next video. Goodbye.